We are back with more Mountain Connections on this Monday, and a series that went on a 6-year hiatus is now back called The Game. Fans are thrilled that it is returning with many of the same characters and stars as before. This is a show all about the culture of pro football, a family, and more, and I spoke with 2 stars of the series recently. Let's take a look.
Right now, it is time to get back in the game, and we have series stars with us today, Wendy, Raquel Robinson, and Hosea Chanchez, to talk all about the series return and its new home on Paramount Plus. Really excited to speak with them both today. Wendy, let's start with you. Tell me all about the return, especially of The Game.
Wow. Well, the return is bigger and better than ever. It's the trilogy. This is our third. We've gone from CW to BET, and now Paramount Plus has really taken not only the production value, but the optics and the storylines to a whole nother level. And I really want to acknowledge Devon Gregory, who has been the captain of the ship with this, along with Raquel, who created the original show and the characters. And we relocated. We're in Vegas, so you could imagine the antics that go along with that, and the glitz, the glam. I'm on a jet. That's wonderful. I'm raising my daughter, who is now 8, and seeing that whole dichotomy, and just seeing these wonderful athletes navigate through this world, and seeing my son on a whole other platform and potentially an owner. So we're dealing in a whole nother level of conversation about ownership, and not just being, I don't want to say not just being the players, but now we're the players that are running the field. Yeah.
That's good.
Ownership.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sexy. It's sexy.
Yeah. And Hosea, tell me more about Malik. That plays a big role in what his goals are this season, the ownership aspect of it.
Ownership is something that it's so interesting, because Malik's journey and my journey are very similar in this inclination of the show. It's about ownership. It's about taking up ownership. Wendy and I are the only 2 people who have done every single episode of this series since its inclination. And so what that does is that it gives you a different sensibility in this world than most people have. And it gives us an opportunity to build, not just from the beginning of the story, but from where these characters are today, and then build on that and go to the next phase of their lives, whatever that is. But the ownership and the mental health things are an overall arc for Malik and for Hosea this season, and in this day and age that we're living in. So I'm excited to get to expose a lot of the mental health and mental illness aspects that a lot of athletes and just humans, Black men in specific, go through in everyday life. So yeah.
And I'm so glad that the show is taking that turn and focusing on that, especially mental health, due to the stigma and the other issues you mentioned that come with it, especially with athletes. And Malik, I feel like your character, Hosea, the character of Malik, feels like he has something to prove, but he really doesn't have anything to prove. Does that make sense?
It does, 100%. It's a through line between Malik and me, because at the same time, I feel coming into this, I have a lot to prove, and not because I owe anybody something, but because I owe myself something. I owe it to myself to come in and be my most authentic self, to tell this story at this age, at the age of 40. In his adulthood, I felt like a lot of times in the past, Malik, his story was underserved because we had so many characters, so many different reasons. But I'm elated to come back into this and expose new colors of this character that I've never seen, and that the audience has never seen either. So those things play a really big part of the canvas of Malik as he paints and as we paint throughout the season. So, yeah.
And Wendy, I love Tasha Mack. You have some of the best lines. You deliver them so well. It just adds this levity, but also a whole other aspect that we all love in the show. But what do you love about Tasha Mack?
Everything you just said. Really, it's like Tasha, I feel like she's my alter ego. She says the things that Wendy thinks sometimes, but is too ashamed to say it out loud. And she shoots from the hip. And I admire that. Sometimes it gets her into trouble, but at the same time, she's I don't care, you know, and she's going to go for it. And it's something very admirable about that, just to see someone who just walks in her truth. And that's just how she is, you know. She lives loud, she loves hard, and she's very passionate about what she does, and she doesn't accept no for an answer. And this season, you're going to see her on an emotional roller coaster, you know, and the unraveling, the unlayering, but at the same time, the building up of who she is from the foundation and recreating that foundation brick by brick. She fascinates me. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's like, wow, what would Tasha do in this incident, you know, in this particular situation? So, and the players, they let me play, you know, certain directors let me just run. They don't call cut. So it's like, oh, once I'm in the zone and in the mode, you know, you never know what the hybrid of both myself and Tasha will come up with. So I think we're at a place now where we're just really having fun.
And it is just so great to watch. Hosea, I'm curious, we mentioned that this show went on quite a long hiatus. How did it feel to learn that you were going to be able to come back and to explore the character of Malik again?
Surreal. Really surreal. We've been trying to actually decide what to do and where to go with the series. And we're so fortunate because it's been about 2.5, 3 years that we were considering where to take the show, and a lot of networks wanted this series. So we're so fortunate to be here at Paramount Plus, and for them to support and to add the weight of this world, as Wendy said. It feels unbelievable, and it's so hard to put. It's so hard to put into words because as an actor, we know what it's like to get the win and to get the job and to get a job that we love. They don't often last this long. And so to be able to play this character, no, it just never happens. So to properly articulate what it feels like to come back to the show, I would really underservice it because it's not really something that it's just awestruck every time. You just don't, you don't know what to think about it. Right. But I'm really grateful to be able to play this character in his 20s, 30s, and now 40, which is something that actors and artists do not get an opportunity to do. So not only did I jump at the opportunity to do this again in adulthood, I also am so grateful to be able to grow up with the audience, as all of us have that have been on the show. Multiple generations can watch and enjoy some art that we created. That's so humbling to know that grandchildren, you know, grandparents and parents, you know, can watch the series. It's just kind of an unbelievable feat as an actor. So, yeah.
Well, yeah, we, the audience, are so excited that the game is back. You can watch on Thursdays exclusively on Paramount Plus. And thank you so much, Wendy, Raquel Robinson, and Hosea Chanchez, for talking with me today. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.